Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome to this next video, which again is going to cover meditation slightly. I had a comment on one of my recent videos, which is about seeing colors and faces during meditation, and I was going through the explanation of what this all means, what's happening, what we're going through, the various levels of healing that's taking place, and the various dimensions that we're moving to within us, within those energy centers and within our own energy and our own field. But the comment was from a subscriber and someone that follows the channel through that video. So thank you for being here and thank you for commenting, and I really appreciate anybody who's got any questions or any comments or isn't sure of something that is taking place within their spiritual journey, within their spiritual practice, within their healing journey, their meditation, whatever's taking place. It's all the same thing. The healing, the spirituality, everything is the same thing. It's all just got different labels and different pockets of where you are. But the question and the comment was that this person was seeing faces when they weren't in meditation. And this is a really, really interesting subject. And what's happening, what's taking place, and why are they seeing faces from not being in a place of relaxation, going through the various dimensions that we go within us. So I want to cover this today as quickly as I can in a video. So getting straight into it, first off, what we need to consider when we are seeing faces and when we are seeing things, when we're not in meditation, where is our mind at the time? Is it a relaxed place of mind? Is it an anxious place of mind? Have you got various people on your mind? Have you got situations that are taking place? And so all of this matters really when we're coming into the realms, because the mind is everything. Your mind is your creator, it's your manifester, it's your visualizer, it's the place that you have to live with. Your mind, your soul, your body, your energy. But your mind is predominantly the controller of a lot of that, and that's why we have to use these various practices to bring a control and a level of balance to the mind. So where is the mind when you're seeing these, when you're seeing faces, when you're visualizing things, when you're seeing things? What state of mind are you in? So if we're in an anxious state of mind, then what can happen is we tend to see and visualize the worst case scenario, or we're thinking 2-3 weeks ahead of where we are currently, so we're not in the present moment. If we're in a relaxed state of mind, then we're just there, we're just present with ourselves, we're easygoing, and then you start seeing things. And again, this is all totally normal when you're on this journey, but it can be a little bit overwhelming and a little bit unusual, and maybe you don't know what it means, and that's why we're doing this video today. So that's the first point really, is where is your state of mind? What is going on? If you're not balanced and you're not in harmony and you're not in a relaxed mind, a relaxed way of being, then you need to bring yourself to that relaxed way of being to then be able to process what is going on. If you're this way, that way, going wherever, thinking whatever, then what you're seeing is situations, people, places that are creating that anxious feeling, thought, reaction, where you're going to go, where you're going to be, how is it going to, and all the questions that the mind likes to throw up. So the mind, the ego, the way it all comes together likes to create a lot of that stuff. However, I'm guessing with you on this channel and watching these kinds of videos that you're probably in a fairly balanced place. I don't know, but hopefully you are. If you're not, then get in touch and we can organize some healing sessions for you. We can do some Reiki, some distance healing, do some meditation. I can guide you. We can do some hypnotherapy. We can do some EFT. We can do various things in between along that as well, from what I've learned along these many years of self-development myself. So, but then we have to then, if you are in a relaxed place of mind and you are balanced and you're just seeing these things in every day, and it's just part and parcel of who you are. I experience a lot of that myself sometimes, where I will just see things, I'm like, oh, what's that? Who's that? I don't really put too much thought into it. I don't really connect too much to it. I just know that I'm tuning in on some level. So that is the next part that we need to discuss, is that when you are seeing these things, what is happening, if it's not your mind creating things externally to other places, then you are tuning in. You are tuned in to the quantum, the spiritual, the field that exists all around us, which we don't usually see with the physical eyes. We usually see it with the mind's eye, the third eye. And that's where a lot of my sort of clairvoyance comes from, is internally. Some people do see things with the physical eyes. Sometimes I'll see auras with the physical eye. Sometimes I will see shadows and shapes with the physical eye. But the majority of the time I will see things with the third eye. And that is where you are. You've obviously done quite a little bit of work, or you're already quite spiritually gifted with that ability. And it is an ability. It is something wonderful that you can use and you can harness on your journey. Great for visualization and manifestation and seeing things and putting things into action through the art of visualizing in the mind and in the mind's eye. But yeah, so basically you're tuned in and you're tuning in to that frequency that is all around you. So you're probably already quite high vibrational. But the other thing about your vibration is you can't always maintain a high vibration. We have to, when we receive downloads and when we receive information, when we receive insight and spiritual information and sights and sounds and seeing things, we can't always maintain that. We have to come back down. We have to come back to the physical. We have to come back to the body to be able to balance our energy out and come back to this level that we're always at. You'll probably be higher than everybody else that's trapped in the matrix and within the mind of the 9 till 5, the eat, sleep, repeat. You'll be higher than them, but you have to come back down to a baseline level of where you are. You can't always maintain a high vibration, and the reason behind that is maintaining a high vibration actually takes effort for your physical body to hold on to that. And so if you're always in a high vibration, or you're always trying to go and connect and see and hear and feel things, then it's going to have a detrimental effect on the actual physical body. Vibrationally and energetically, you'll be zinging, you'll be doing really well, but physically you'll be a little bit out of whack. And this is where, when we talk about energy centers and healing, the chakras, the balancing of the chakras, this is where your root chakra is the most important part. Your physical, you're bringing yourself back into the now, back into you, so you can actually experience being in the physical body, being a human, being in the human body. And that's what we're here for. The experiences that we go through, the sights, sounds, the feelings, the sensations, they're beautiful, they are wonderful when they happen. And sometimes they happen to people quite a lot. Sometimes they happen to people in little dribs and drabs and what have you. But that's just the way it is. And if we try and force it again, it's going to have a detrimental effect. So we need to always come back to base. We always need to come back to our baseline level, our root, our grounding. So you're tuned in, you're tuning in. Sorry, sometimes I have to go off on a little bit of a tangent to explain my reasoning behind what I'm saying, because some people might come across this video and not understand the quantum, the field, so I have to go into that and explain on a physical level as well how important we are as a physical being to be able to carry this spirit around with us and be able to see, feel and connect to these different things and see these different things. So you're tuning in and you're tuned in. So let's move on. So as I mentioned, in the tuning in and the being tuned in, you've got an activated open third eye. You've got a powerful third eye if you're seeing a lot of faces and you're seeing a lot of things in everyday life. Again, what it can do for people is it can create an unbalance somewhere. If it's constant, again, it's a sign that you need to focus back on you. You need to focus back into the grounding, come back into the physical body, come back into the now. Focus on your root chakra, your physical chakras, your root, sacral, solar plexus. Get back into that and get back into you and get that stability. Because if we're seeing them in everyday life and it's constant and it's just a constant stream, then what is happening is it's taking you away from the now. Again, it's having this thing where maybe not consciously, but it's having this thing where it's pulling you away from the now, and it can have an effect on your physical life. It can have an effect on just your everyday running of things when you're constantly seeing things. And that's why psychics and mediums, they'll only do so much work, then they shut off and they close down, they tune back into themselves, they go through the healing, they rebalance themselves, and then when they're ready, they open themselves back up again. So it's very much about stepping into that, but also coming back into you, coming back into life, coming back into everyday life. And I think that's what, especially since 2020, when there's been a lot of people that have gone on a spiritual awakening journey, and they want to know everything, they want to get into everything. You know, it takes a long time. It takes, you know, we're all still learning, we're all still progressing. But a lot of people from that don't know how to come back to now, come back from themselves, because they've been whisked off into all these different rabbit holes and portals and things that they want to tune into, but then they forget about themselves, you know, and then there's more healing that needs to take place. So it's a really tricky path to be on when you're doing this stuff. That, again, it's really lovely when these things happen, and it's really, really powerful, and it's euphoric, and it feels amazing. But we always need to come back to ourselves, you know, and that is what spirituality is. And being spiritual, you're coming back to your true nature, you're coming back to yourself, you're coming back to love, you're coming back to your very essence, your very spirit of who you are. And that is how you carry yourself in everyday life, with that vibration. So your third eye is activated, your third eye is open, you're aware of things. Brilliant. I've had a few situations where I've been like at work, in a job, and I've just been mulling about doing different things, or I've just been sat having my dinner. Then all of a sudden I see, like for instance, a while ago, I was on my lunch break and I was just sat in the tea room, and it's in a small shop in a shopping centre, and I was just having my dinner in this tea room, and all of a sudden I just saw pigs everywhere, like oink oink pigs, you know. And I thought, that's weird, that's very strange, why am I seeing pigs? And it's something emanating up from the land and from the earth. This has happened before in other places where I've been, where I did a bit of care work for a short while, and I was the driver, and I had to drive people around to different care jobs. And one of these houses that I went to, it was out in the middle of nowhere, it was out in the country, and I'd parked up and I was waiting for them to come back out to the car. So I was just sat and I had some music on, I was just looking at the building, looking at the house. And then in these big windows in the living room, I was just looking through the window, and it was relatively dark, I couldn't really see into the room. And all of a sudden all I saw was these cows moving through the living room. And I thought, well, that's somebody's house, that's not like a farm or a barn or anything. And so anyway, when the person came back out, and I said, what's that part of the house there? And they said, oh, that's like the kitchen. And I said, oh, right. And they were like, well, why? I said, it doesn't matter, because they didn't know like about all this stuff, so I didn't want to kind of like blow their mind. But again, it's obviously something coming from the land, so we can quite easily tune into this stuff, and it's nothing really to be overly scared of, or, you know, it's just something that happens, and sometimes occasionally you just tap into it, and it just happens. And again, when the third eye is activated, when it's open, when it's operating on that optimum level, you're tuning into something that we call like extrasensory perception. You're just aware of much more, you're just more awake, you're more open. And that's, again, this is where a lot of this awakening comes from, this spiritual awakening. It's not just the third eye either, it's every part of you, it's every part of your being. So a lot of people like to just focus on the third eye, but it's not, it's everything. Like I say, if you only focus on that but you're not grounded, then it's going to take you all over the place. Your mind will be scattered, because you're experiencing so much and seeing so much, not just spiritually but also in everyday life. So it's a very, very powerful chakra, but also is your root chakra. A lot of this energy all of this energy comes from your Kundalini, comes from your root chakra. You have to really focus on that. So basically that is what is happening. You're tuning in, you're open, you're aware. So you don't always have to be in meditation to see things. You do see things in everyday life. And you know, sometimes as well, this is where we talk of kind of like the paranormal or spiritual activity. Sometimes we can be aware of, say, shadows or shadow people. A lot of people have this connection to shadow people as always being negative. And a lot of the time it's just because when we see them with the physical eye, our physical eye only gives us so much information. So we can't actually physically see every aspect of what is being shown. So a lot of the time a shadow person will just be a spiritual energy. It doesn't have to be negative. Sometimes it is, but a lot of the time it's just, sometimes it's your guide, sometimes it's a loved one, sometimes it takes a lot of energy for spirit to actually show themselves to the physical eyes. That's why we see them within your energy body. And that's how you perceive them, that's how you see them, and that's how they interact with us through your own internal energy system. So the feeling, the sensing, the understanding, the knowing. I made a video not so long ago, which I'll actually link below, of how spiritual energy connects to us and how we interpret. You know, so I talked about being mind, body and spirit in that video, and again, like I say, I'll link it below. But in actual fact, people tend to separate the mind, body and spirit, but the mind, body and spirit is a whole union, and it all operates into each area. So it's a really interesting video. I know it's one of my videos and it sounds really egoic of me to say that, but the reason why it was interesting, it wasn't my information, it came from my guides, it came from source, from the divine, from whatever you want to call it. And that's why I had to make the video, to just put it out there. So like I said, I'll link that below so you can watch that and check it out and let me know what you think. Let me know what resonates with you, because a lot of the information that I do get from my guides, some of this today came from my guides, I had to write it down, is really interesting. And another thing that you find as well as you develop on your spiritual journey is the information and where you are on your journey will change. It will. So my understanding of a spiritual awakening 3, 4, 5, 6 years ago is totally different to where I am now. And I am going to make another video on spiritual awakening soon, what it is, why we go through it, the different stages of a spiritual awakening as well, and how it affects us. So yeah, but we change, we're constantly evolving, we're constantly transcending and moving through these cycles of spiritual energy, very much like a circle. You know, we're constantly going round and round and round. So yeah, it's really interesting, and it's some information that's been downloaded recently from my guides, and I will be sharing it soon on this channel. If that's something that you like the sound of, then don't forget to hit that subscribe button below, give me a thumbs up, give me a like. It all helps with the channel's vibration, it helps with the algorithm, it helps this channel get seen, and it helps more like-minded people come together in this community to support, to help each other on their spiritual healing paths. So have a beautiful, beautiful day wherever you are. Do take care. I hope this video helps. Do comment below your thoughts. Let me know if there's anything that you want to know, if there are any questions that come from this. Again, ping them all below, because I will try to answer as many questions as I can that come from you guys. Have a beautiful, beautiful day. Take care. Namaste.